go to the break. Thank you, Senator Payman. You've got until 5 o'clock.
Yep. Thank you, Chair. I'll be quick. Additional estimates in February this year, I asked how the government came to the figure of the 20% for the student debt relief bill. The answer provided was, and I quote, deliberations of Cabinet and its committees are confidential, end quote. I'm just curious, does the refusal of the government to answer that question mean that the government chose the figure of 20% at random, without evidence or consultation? I'm just trying to understand where that 20% figure came from.
Sorry, Senator, you're probably going to get the same response from me, I'm afraid. Because it was part of Cabinet processes, as we would always do, we give government a range of options. Those options go into deliberative consideration by Cabinet, and then Cabinet makes those decisions.
Minister, would you care to comment on that, like where the 20% came from? I've had a lot of students and constituents reach out and ask me where, so I'm simply just trying to get answers for them.
Well, it's pretty good, isn't it? 20% wiped off HECS debt, $16 billion in debt wiped for 3 million Australians.
But where did we come from? Where did we get the 20%?
Debt, $27,000, $5,000 in savings flowing through to people's accounts in the next couple of months. It's a pretty good decision that the Cabinet made that day, but the basis of the decision is Cabinet in confidence.
Is there any particular evidence that the government relied on to support this choice of 20% debt reduction?
I think the Secretary's just given evidence that the usual process is that options are provided and then deliberations are made and Cabinet makes decisions, and
can
those
the
decisions are
Secretariat
in confidence.
Are you able to outline what options were given to government?
No, Senator, those options are part of Cabinet papers and therefore part of Cabinet deliberations.
Okay. It's just, out of curiosity, we're just wondering whether that figure was considered, amongst all the factors of, cost to the budget versus benefits to students and what those factors were. Because research from the E61 Institute found that cutting student loans by a flat amount of $5,500 would be more equitable than a cut of 20%. Did the government consider this option? Or have that as part of the options?
I know that 70% of the benefit of the 20% cut has gone to people on incomes of $70,000 a year or less. I think that's right. So the benefit has gone to people on lower than median incomes.
Because so the way I see it, does a cut of 20% not provide a greater benefit to those able to take on larger student loans and student debts who are often better placed to service those debts compared to those with smaller debts? Secretariat?
So, Senator, every individual circumstances is different. The 20% cut applies to some people may have multiple loans as a result of multiple degrees, and so the 20% around that would actually benefit them greatly. Unfortunately, the nature of the question that you're asking is about deliberate advice to government through a Cabinet process, and I'm unable to comment on that further.
In July, the Prime Minister said he was a supporter of progressive taxation, as we all are. Given this change is more beneficial the more capacity a student or a person has to service a debt or study without full-time employment, would the 20% cut to student debts not be a regressive economic policy?
Senator, the 20% reduction in HECS debt did benefit people earning under $70,000 a year, so over 70% of the benefit went to those earning under $70,000 a year. And there's a couple of other important changes as well, one of which is changing the thresholds of income whereby people start to pay back their HECS debt, and those changes were thresholds of somewhere in the vicinity of $50,000 to over $60,000, where people pay back their HECS debt. And that's providing assistance to people. Of course, they could choose to pay off more if they're in a position to pay off more, but that's providing assistance to people of about $50 a fortnight at the moment as well. And of course, we also made improvements to the indexation of HECS debt, whereby there were $3 billion of savings delivered in the last term of government. And we made the indexation of HECS debt what was lower, either wage price growth or the CPI. So that was another big change that's assisted students.
Can we please get a breakdown of, the 70% of students that have been, have experienced some form of relief? In terms of which states, like on a state-by-state basis, and those who earn less than, $70,000 was mentioned. So can we get a detailed breakdown by state and how much the 20% HECS debt relief, how many people it's actually assisted on the ground in every state? I'm particularly interested in WA. And I appreciate that you'll need to take that on notice.
I've got some information here,
yes,
Senator, if that's helpful. Why don't I start with the great state of WA?
Please.
So of the 2.946506 people who were in receipt of the 20% reduction, so about 3 million across Australia, 263,132 are in WA, which is about 8.9% of that. I can quickly go through, if you'd like, the other jurisdictions.
Yes, please.
Yes. So starting from the top, ACT, it was 55,367, which is about 1.9%.
Yep.
New South Wales, it was 891,734, which was 30.3%. Let me know if I'm talking too quickly.
That's fine.
Northern Territory was 17,380, and that was 0.6%. My home state, Queensland, was 609,661, which is 20.7%.
Wow, the highest so far.
Running second, I think, but that's okay. South Australia was 199,710, which was 6.8%. Tasmania is 52,437, which was 1.8%. Rounding it out is Victoria, which is 811,516, so sorry, and 27.5%. And then there are some that we don't necessarily know their classification, which is the classic other category in data collections that you sometimes get, which is around 45,569, which is 1.5%.
Okay.
So in total, there were roughly 3 million people who received that 20% reduction on their balance as at 1 June 2025.
Sorry, what was the date?
They received the balance, the 20% reduction on the balance of their loan as at the 1st of June 2025.
1st of June 2025. Okay. Wonderful. Excellent. All right. Thank you so